Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Friday, July 19th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce, and check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. Today's show, Slammiversary 2024. We're going to preview the show, make our predictions. It looks like to be a great card. We are going to have some fun, but for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. All right, so before we dive into the card, before we make our predictions, you know we got to look at last year's show. And last year's show had 11 matches with 3 on the pre-show. So on the pre-show, we had Heath and Gujar defeat the Good Hands. Jody Threat and the Death Dolls, Courtney, Rush, and Jessica, defeated the Shaw Tourage, which was Gisele Shaw, Savannah Evans, and Jai Vidal. And Kenny King defeated Joe Hendry. This was for the Digital Media Championship, with Kenny King defeating Joe Hendry for the championship. Then on the main card, Kushida defeated Allen Angels, Jake Something, Jonathan Gresham, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey in an Ultimate X match to become the #1 contender to the Ultimate for the X Division Championship. MK Ultra, the team of Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich, defeated the Coven, Taylor Rod and Colin King, to become the new Knockout Tag Team Champions, and they went on an amazing run after that. Still a top team at some point. Leo Rush, hold on. Team Canada, Scott Diamore and Eric Young defeated Bully Ray and Cody Deaner. This started out as a one-on-one match and then a handicap. It was a whole thing. Leo Rush defeated Chris Sabin to become the X Division champion. Who remembers that? The team of Subculture, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster defeated ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, Brian Myers and Moose, and Rich Swann and Sami Callihan in the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match to become the new Tag Team Champions. Eddie Edwards defeated Frankie Kazarian. This is part of the really good feud they had last year. Trinity defeated Deonna Purrazzo by submission to become the Knockouts Champion, and Alex Shelley defeated Nick Aldis to retain the Impact World Championship. But without further ado, let's get into the 2024 show. We have 11 matches, surprisingly, on the card once again. And we start off with 3 matches on Countdown to Slammiversary. That's the pre-show. Their pre-shows are called the Countdowns. And we have Zaya Brookside versus Gisele Shaw versus Tasha Steelz versus Faby, Apache in a fatal 4-way match. Now, this one is good. This one is stemming from just good old competition. It's really that simple. And look, as much as I love Tasha Steelz, she's not winning this match. And Faby Apache is a new contender, a new challenger who's been put here, but she's going to get some time to shine, but she's not winning this match. This is really coming down to Zaya Brookside and Gisele Shaw. Zaya's Brookside star is growing, and Gisele Shaw is now working with Gail Kim. It's a matter of, honestly, here's what I feel about it. It's a matter of who wins in the main event. Not the main event. Who wins the women's championship match, the knockout championship match? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Gisele Shaw wins here, but this is going to set up another feud, some more good stuff. It's going to be exciting. Then we have Kushida versus Jonathan Gresham. This is also on the Countdown to Slammiversary, and this one all stems from Jonathan Gresham's new demeanor. He is really embracing that nickname of the octopus, and it seems like when you get into the ring with him, if you touch him, if he spits that ink in your face, you change, and you change for the worse. Kind of like what happens with the House of Black. And Kushida is the latest victim. People are started wearing masks. People started wearing gloves. So we'll see where this goes. This is going to be a really, really fun and fantastic match with two highly trained and technically skilled wrestlers. I don't know if Kushida's going to have his backup. So take Gresham here. I think Gresham wins this just to continue his character and some more growth that we've got going. And lastly, on the pre-show, the countdown, we have the Militia, the team of Alisha Edwards and Masha Slamovich, defending the Knockouts Tag Team Championships against Spitfire, Dani, Luna, and Jody Threat. Now, this stems from Under Siege, where the Militia defeated Spitfire to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and they continue their reign under the direction of their while Spitfire continued under the direction of their mentor Lars Fredrickson, who had competed in several trial matches, and they got their rematch clause. And the final trial was a 10-minute challenge between Luna and Jody, right? And that ended in a draw, and they were given 5 extra minutes to finish the match, but it never ended because the Militia attacked them. So Spitfire got the rematch, and I like the team of Spitfire, but here's the thing. And this is going to really tell you how I feel about the rest of some of these title matches. I don't think the system are losing. And if anyone is going to lose, it's going to be here. Because what happens when Killer Kelly comes back and she wants to be with our tag team partner again? I'm going to go on a limb and say Alisha and Masha retain here with a 3% chance that they could possibly lose. Next up, we have a match that was recently added that looks quite fun. The Rascalz have reunited. Trey, Miguel, Wesley, and Zachary Wentz will be taking on the No Quarter Catch crew from NXT. In this war between the two kind of companies is exciting. It's exciting, and not only that, the No Quarter Catch crew have made their presence known on TNA, and Charlie Dempsey has gotten W's. And Wesley is coming off of a loss, not knowing what to do, and he had to have his boys show up at NXT to reinvigorate him and give him a new lease and love for wrestling. This match could steal the show because you have this great technically sound faction in the No Quarter Catch crew versus the wildness of the Rascalz, and this will help the No Quarter Catch crew because you have Trey, Miguel, and Wesley, to a lesser extent Zachary Wentz, who are the veterans here, and Trey Miguel is one of the best in the world. This is going to be fun. I don't think it will end here, only because we haven't gotten one-on-one matches like Trey Miguel versus Charlie Dempsey. Kind of want to see that, but don't expect NXT to win here. Just how NXT won on their home turf, I'm taking TNA to win on their home turf, so take the Rascalz to win. Next up, we have Mike Santana versus Jake something, and Mike has been doing some good work here. Like, since returning to TNA, finally getting that push that he wanted, that singles run, it's been good. And yes, he lost out on appearing in the main event for the title. It's because he and Jake something lost as a tag team. They were fighting to qualify for the match, and you cost me the match. We lost, so now I got to beat your ass. So Mike Santana versus Jake something is an interesting match because both men need the W here. Question is, who needs it more? Who has to have this win? And I think it's got to go to Santana. Now the thing is, Jake could have Cody Deaner just waiting in the wings to give him a W to help him out, but Mike's been really pushing it, and I'm going to take him to win here. Next up, we have the TNA Digital Media Championship and the Canadian International Heavyweight championship being defended by AJ Francis as he defends against PCO. And this started because First Class, AJ Francis and Rich Swann were just mocking the buddy romance between PCO and Steph DeLander. Were trashing them, took the roles. And when Steph and PCO had their dates, right, First Class not only crashed the date, they tied PCO up into the ropes, and AJ Francis chokeslammed Steph DeLander through the table. And they continued to mock PCO week after week. And with the help of DJ Woo Kid, Francis purchased the Canadian International Heavyweight Championship, which is a retired championship from the 70s and 80s, but it really, really fits AJ Francis' gimmick of, the collector of precious things. And this title also ties back to PCO's native Quebec. So this is spiteful. This could go either way. Now, Steph DeLander isn't here. She's back in Australia, but I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up. People were really sleeping on Francis, but ever since coming to TNA, he has really made a good name for himself. He's been on a roll, and I don't think you can end that here. He's going to get a fight for sure from PCO, and I think just because Steph isn't there, it's going to cause PCO. So take AJ Francis to retain both championships. Next up, we have a tag team match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships as the System are defending against ABC. And this is some good stuff here. This is all about the System. They don't lose. They always win. So how can they combat a team that is as good as ABC? This could be the match where the System loses. I just find it a little odd, slightly odd, where something's got to give, and this is going to be the toughest challenge that the System will face. It's going to be a really good match. So it's like, do they lose the Knockouts tag team titles, or do they lose the tag team titles? And ABC have been on the outs, and they're trying to get their groove back. So that could really play here. I don't think the ABC are going to break up. I just think the System might have a little something in store for this. So I'm going to take the System to retain. Then we have Broken Matt Hardy versus JDC, who's Johnny Dangle Curtis. I totally forget why he's going by that name, but this stems from Matt Hardy being costed a shot at the championship because of Dango, who is trying to make his way into the System. And this is essentially Moose, by order of Moose, you need to deal with Matt Hardy. You want to get into the System. It's really that simple. So does JDC get the W? Does he deal with Matt Hardy? No. Matt has made his return to TNA, and I still think the end game is either him or Nick Nemeth to become the world champion. And they got to get through Moose. So take Broken Matt Hardy here. JDC will not be hurt by the loss. Then we have Mustafa Ali defending the X Division Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey. And this, my friends, this is the match of the night. I'm just saying it here. Ali has been ducking and dodging Bailey and finding ways not to defend, and then he actually snuck and got a W over Speedball this past week. So Santino wasn't having it. And now we have the title match, and all things equal, Campaign Singh is going to be in Ali's corner because the Good Hands got taken out, and Trent Seven is going to be in Mike Bailey's corner. So the question is, can Ali sneak away with the championship? Now, I feel like he can, But Mike Bailey is good. He's good. And this is also in Quebec. The show is also in Quebec. He's from Quebec. So it's like, I don't believe PCO and Mike Bailey are both going to win. And since PCO is losing, I like Mike Bailey to win here and become your new X Division champion to continue this feud with Ali. Then we have the Knockouts Championship with Jordynne Grace defending against Ash by Elegance. And on paper, this might be the weakest match of the card, because even though I believe that Ash has gotten significantly better, still leaves a little bit to desire, but the gimmick is working. Remember, this started at, what was that? Hard to Kill, where Ash was in the audience watching Grace versus Trinity, and Grace won the belts. And then Grace showed back up in NXT Grace showed up in NXT to challenge Roxanne Perez, and Ash prevented Tatum Paxley from stealing the Knockout Championship, because that's what she wants. And then at Against All Odds, Grace received the championship against Paxley in an open challenge. And Ash tried getting physical with Grace, but she was unsuccessful. However, she tried sending the message to Grace after her victory, putting her opponent down with her finisher. So Jordan didn't like that you're winning matches with my finisher, and Ash kept poking, kept prodding, and laid out Grace, and Grace was pissed and laid the challenge, and here we are. Like, the head says that Grace is going to win. She's just been too dominant. She's been on too much of a roll. But Ash is finally in the championship match, and she's the new star on the block. I think you have to put the championship on her. I think it's got to fall that way. I don't know how she does it. Maybe with the help of her concierge, but I just see Ash by Elegance walking away with the Knockouts Championship. And lastly, we have our main event, the 6-way elimination match for the TNA World Championship. So Moose will be defending against Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and Joe Hendry. So we've got 4 former world champions. I'm almost. Let me make sure. I want to say. No, so we have 3 former champions. It kind of astounds me that Kaz has never won the World Championship in TNA. Moose, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin are former champions. Nick Nemeth is a former world champion. And then we have the guy that everyone in professional wrestling is talking about. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. So here's my thing. I do not believe Hendry had a chance at winning this. I don't. I really believe that Moose was going to retain, because Moose always wins. But the uptick in popularity of Joe Hendry is causing quite a stir. And I think they have to pivot. And the crazy thing is, anyone can win here. I can see Moose retaining. I can see Alexander winning. I can see Kaz winning and moving over to a feud with Steve Macklin. Nick Nemeth was, I think, had the best shot at winning, but he's hurt. I think it does come down to Moose, Hendry, and Josh Alexander. And I just don't think Moose is losing just yet. Now, TNA could definitely pivot and put the belt on Hendry. I just think you have to keep the system strong. So I'm going to take Moose to win here. We had the Road to Slammiversary series, getting the qualifying matches and it worked out, gave us some good TV. But I think Moose is walking away as the champion here. And I know some of you probably don't like that because you want Joe Hendry to win, but you know how the saying goes, you can't beat the system. So, one more time, let's go over the results. I think Gisele Shaw wins the Fatal 4-Way. Gresham defeats Kushida. The Militia retains over Spitfire. The Rascalz defeat No Quarter Catch Crew. Mike Santana defeats Jake Something. AJ Francis defeats PCO. The System defeats ABC. Broken Man Hardy defeats JDC. Mike Bailey defeats Mustafa Ali to become the new X Division champion. Ashby Elegance defeats Jordan Grace to become the new Knockouts champion. And Moose wins the 6-man elimination match to retain his TNA World Championship. But that is our show. Check out the schedule, what we got coming up. We got a couple more lists. We got High Ridge Wrestling Podcast next week. Got a whole bunch of stuff in the works. I'm excited for that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Bailey, Anna J, Chris Statlander, Gigi Dolan, Willow Nightingale, and Isla Dawn. Holla at your boy. Peace.